Hello everybody, welcome to a brand new deck profile. This time I'm profiling Monarchs. Monarchs have been a deck that it's in a weird spot because it keeps getting better and better for a deck to play because link format is established. People are no longer like new to it. They know how to use it. The link strategy is being incorporated in a variety of decks, mostly the top tier decks. So you generally think, well, Monarchs are just like a really good deck to play. But the ban list, still being a thing and having 3 Monarch cards there does hurt this deck a little bit in terms of consistency. So before I jump into the deck profile and explanations, if you guys would leave a like, maybe comment and subscribe if you like the content that I'm putting on my channel, that would mean a whole lot. So yeah, onto the actual deck profile, and then followed by the side. You don't play an extra, at least in this build. And then I'll go over some explanations. I'm playing triple Erebus, 1 Caius, 1 Aether, triple Vanity's Fiend, 1 Majesty's Fiend, 1 Kraz, triple Voss, Kaiser Voss Raider, triple Eidos, triple Idea, triple Allure, 1 for 1 Pantheism, 1 Rhoda, triple Tenacity, double Foolish Burial Goods, 1 Upside Goblin, 1 Foolish Burial, 1 Frost Blast, 1 Stormforth, 1 March, triple Return, 1 Domain, triple Domain, 1 Erupt, and double Prime. So, my build is a little bit less consistent, at least in the way that you'd say, well, 40 decks is the most consistent. If you're looking at it from the deck from that perspective, then yes, my deck would be less consistent. However, I am playing triple Allure of Darkness, which honestly you kind of just have to play because it gets you there. It really gets you there. Having like just extra cards in your hand as Monarchs when Pantheism is a 1 and Stormforth is at 1 and Aether is at 1, you need to necessarily like draw into your cards more than you need to search them. You do have some engine cards just to like start up your plays, but you need to draw to extend your play. So that's the problem with Monarchs now, is that they have plenty of combo starters, but they don't have combo extenders, and that's why the deck ends up breaking a lot, because it limits your plays, because you don't want to play too many high level Monarchs, but you don't want to play too little Monarchs. So you kind of have to find this like weird balance between the monster lineup. So for now I'm playing 9 tribute fodder monsters, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 tribute monsters, like monsters to tribute, essentially. And the reason I chose to play an Allure version of the deck is because, well, you have just so many good targets, especially if you play the Kaiser Voss Raider. You just have so many good targets. You have things like Erebus, Caius, Vanity's Fiend. Like, once you have you don't want to have multiple Vanity's Fiends in your hand, because one, he's not searchable, into the extra copy just becomes fodder for Allure. And then you have the Eidos. Eidos is a little bit tricky to use with Allure, but usually like the Erebus, the Caius, and the Vanity's Fiend and the Voss Raider are always just good materials. And then in your side, you can also have plenty of cards to use Allure of Darkness, like Trap Eater, Jinzo, and Chaos Hunter. So I just prefer playing a more aggressive draw build with Allure. For the rest of the lineup, it's pretty standard. I'm going for the Vanity's Fiend build. Some people prefer like the pure build, where they play like more of the middle Monarchs, so like the 2400 attack ones, because they have more utility. But Vanity's Fiend just basically says, no, you can't special summon, and against some decks, yeah, you just auto-win with this card, like Burning Abyss, they can't do anything. Link-based strategies like World Chalice, they do a lot of special summoning. If the opponent doesn't have the out, then you just basically win. When you back the Vanity's Fiend up by a March of the Monarchs, you honestly just win. Now, another thing that I'm doing differently with this deck is the way I'm playing the deck. So, instead of like just stunning my opponent, I'm trying to establish a board that's easier to... So basically I'm trying to get to the Monarch lock, where you have like the return, the March with like the Domain and maybe like the Erupt. But I'm always trying to go for the Prime Monarch, so... Monarch's Erupt is really good, don't get me wrong, but like, I could easily just take this out and play another Prime, right? Because my idea here in the deck is that I want Prime to be my turn 2-3 consistent like card to just keep replenishing stuff back to my hand, because you do pitch a lot of stuff for your Monarch effects, but I always want to have something that I can just like draw every turn on my opponent's turn, and on my turn I just want to keep drawing. I want to get to my pieces. I want to establish my boards even if they get broken, and that's why I only play one Monarch. I see a lot of people like late 2017, early 2018 now playing double match of the Monarchs, and I'm like, do you really want to play this card? Because it's like, it's a brick if you don't have the cards that you need, and most of the time I just end up sending this to the grave for like an Erebus, and then use Prime to like put it back into the deck and then search it with Tenacity. So I just like really using Prime in this deck because one, it makes me better as a player because I have to like resource manage a little bit better, especially when Stormforth and Pantheism is at one. I always want to see my Prime in my hand, at least going like in the later turns, right? If I already have, say for example, the Domain, the Return, and the March, I want to have that Prime ready to set and just keep getting monsters. And also it's just like a really solid card in the grave, because at one point you will run out of Eidos Idea combo. Like, there's only so many like turns you can do the Eidos Idea combo from the grave. So at one point you will need to have like at least one Prime in the grave with like something else in the grave to bring the Prime to use as tribute fodder. I'm also playing the Kazavos Raider because it's just more synergy with the lore, and also its effect is actually surprisingly good when you're playing against, say for example, Tricksters, because if you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand, so that's like a really solid effect, just being a free special summon. And then if this card shows an opponent's monster by battle, this card gains 500 attack. This card is actually really good against things like counter fairies, because the counter fairies can get pretty big, but if you can like establish your board going first, and then like they can special summon, even if they just use trap cards and whatever, if their monsters haven't like reached high enough attack points, or even against things like the Bountiful Artemis and such, this card becomes like pretty powerful because it can just keep beating over monsters. And it's also like fantastic against Tricksters, because Tricksters, the highest damage card they have is Candina, and she has 1800 attack points. So with Voss Raid you can like beat over it, and then it goes to instantly 2400. So it becomes pretty beefy, and the more monsters you keep destroying, the better. Also, some matchup things is this deck basically auto loses to True Draco. There isn't much you can do. Like, maybe you can get the Stormforth and tribute their Masterpiece, but other than that, if they can just like kill one of your key cards, you basically lose. And this deck loses to like back row, not back row, but like disruption heavy decks that can like pop your cards, because you want to establish your you want to establish your board, but if they keep breaking it, like if they get rid of your return, you know, that's okay. That's, yeah, you just don't get the search, but like getting rid of things like the Domain and the Prime, it's kind of rough. So you have to like be careful on how you play the deck. A really good board that I like to go for is Vanity's Fiend into Majesty's Fiend. So if I tribute for Vanities, activate return to search Majesties, and then the next turn I can just bring out a Majesties by, for example, normal summoning an Eidos or something, and then just tribute over it. At this point, you like, if it was already hard enough for your opponent to get rid of the Vanity's Fiend, at this point it's even harder, because now their monsters can't even activate their effects. And you have these two big monsters that gain 800 attack during damage calculation. Only on attack though. Like, if they get attacked, they don't get that bonus, but when they attack, then, you know, they become pretty beefy. And yeah. For the rest of this lineup is pretty simple. You're just playing engine cards like Rhoda, 1-for-1, and Goblin, Upside Goblin, and Foolish Burial to like tutor out your idea. She's still like the main combo piece of the deck, because she's able to tutor out Eidos, and she's able to return Pantheism from the Banished Zone back to the deck, so that's really, really strong. I'm taking in double Pot of Acquisitiveness in the side deck, and I'll explain why in a second, once I go over to the side deck. Playing double Foolish Burial Goods. You want to see this kind sometimes, but not all the times. Yeah, so Foolish is still very good, being able to pitch things like Pantheism, or Pantheism, or a Prime, sometimes even the Frost Blast, if this card, like, if you top deck it or something. So very, very strong, and the regular Foolish for things like Erebus and the Idea, so very, very good. Again, once you have like one Erebus, you can just keep like using the same Erebus. So that's why I can safely play a lot. Like if I already have access to my one Erebus of like Aether or something, the other two just become like okay. As long as I don't run out of spells and traps in my deck, I can just keep recycling this guy, especially with Prime. That's why I really like playing Prime in this build. So yeah, very, very good stuff. Now onto the side deck. My side deck is pretty interesting because I'm basically playing cards that I know just win against the matchups. Oh, also, some people might be saying, why are you not playing double Kraz? Well, because this is a mod like Dark Vision of the deck, and I would only want Kraz if I want extra draw power or searches. I might consider bumping it up to 2, but for now, because I can trigger it off either, and like it's searchable, one Kraz is fine. My deck does not need to rely on Kraz to unbrick itself, so yeah. And I do have the second copy in the side deck if I truly need it. Also, it's important to know that Kraz plus Return of the Monarchs is a really good combo, but you need to do the proper chainlink, which is Kraz chainlink 1, Return chainlink 2, because if you do Return chainlink 1, Kraz chainlink 2, Kraz will activate first, destroying the Return, and you don't get the Return search. But if you activate Kraz first, then Return, you first get the search, then you can pop it for the extra draw. So very, very good. You can also, if you already have like the Prime, you can also, if you have like the Prime face up, once you already use the effect during your turn, or whatever turn you brought out Kraz, you can just pop it and get the 2 extra draws that way. So very good. And also if I bring out the Kraz during the turn that I bring out Aether, so like my opponent's turn, the Kraz will just bounce back to my hand. So very, very good. And then I can recycle with Erebus, so Kraz is still like really good for like draw power, but I don't need to rely on it. That's basically what I'm trying to say here. And yeah, so onto the side deck. I'm playing the Stalos. I want to bring to Stalos, I'll side to Stalos for Caius, when I know I'm playing against something that I need to like get information of my opponent's current hand. So if I know the matchup, and I need to get something off my opponent's hand to activate Stalos effect to like disrupt their hand, and give them the -1, that's usually when I'll want to side in the Stalos. And when I side in the Stalos, I usually I side out like the Caius and maybe the Allure for something else, or maybe just the Caius. It really depends though. Then I'm playing the Zaborg. Zaborg is like really good against decks that use their whole extra deck to just do like one play. That's usually the best time to side in Zaborg, because at that point they just auto lose the turn you bring this out. Then I'm playing Triple Chaos Hunter. This card is phenomenal against Tricksters and ABC. You basically auto win, special summons yourself during their turn, so very, very good. If your opponent's not able to bring out things like ABC Buster Drake, then yeah, you just basically win with Chaos Hunter. And you can also use it like during your own turn, so if they like special summon on your turn, like if they bring out a card, a Haunted or something, or like just basically special summon a monster, you can just bring out the Chaos Hunter and then it can act as extra fodder. Playing the triple Jinzo basically wins against back row decks. Basically this is really good against like Floodgates. One game I was playing against a deck that I think was like True Draco that used lose one turn, and like the Jinzo, like it was so clutch because basically it stopped the Floodgate. Very, very good. And then it can also, and then the True Draco players cannot use like the things like the returns. No, it's the Apocalypse and the Return of the True Kings or whatever, right? So Jinzo stops that, so they can't tribute on your turn. So very, very good. And then I have the second Kraz to, in case I really need it, then I'll bring it out. Again, if I bring out the Kraz, I'll probably just side out one of the Allures. Then playing Triple Trap Eater for the same reason that I'm playing Jinzo, but Trap Eater is especially good in this deck along with Jinzo because they are dark monsters as well as Chaos Hunter. But for example, if I'm playing like against a back row heavy deck, I'll probably like take out the Majesty's Fiend and say for example like the Frost. No, actually, back row heavy decks I'll probably play Frost Blast. But like I can afford to like side out some cards like the Mega Caius, Majesty's Fiend, maybe the Kraz or whatever. Basically whatever I need for that situation, I can just put in the Trap Eater or the Jinzo. With Trap Eater, again, very good because it removes the face-up trap card and it special summons itself, so it can act as fodder for your big Monarchs. Playing one Monster Reborn in the side. I don't like this card in the main. I was experimenting with it when the ban list first came out, but the problem with Monster Reborn main deck is that if you draw it in your opening hand, it's taking up a slot for a card that you don't need. So I just have it in the side. If I know what I'm playing against and I know that the Monster Reborn will be very useful, then I'll side it in. And then I'm also playing the Pot of Acquisitiveness, because this card is pretty good, especially against the Trickster matchup. You do end up doing a lot of like banishing, especially like banishing your Eidoses to bring out ideas. So basically against like anything that like would banish from the graveyard, even against things like banish dot decks like Metaphys, Grand Maju, Grand Maju OTK or whatever, right? Basically, the Power of Acquisitiveness is pretty good because it puts back stuff into the deck that you'll need, and you also get the you also get the draw effect. So very, very good. At 1, you won't see this card enough, but at 2, you'll see it enough where when it comes up, it's relevant. So yeah, I won't ramble on about Monarchs because this deck, this deck is known for what it's known for, you know. So yeah, once again, if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Uploading daily. So until then, I'll see you guys in the next one.